you know what, it happened the way it happened, and now we're at where we're at, and we're just going to keep kind of moving forward from there.
Welcome to the Thank You Adversity podcast, where we explore the power of resilience, the beauty of growth, and the lessons learned from life's tough challenges. I'm your host, Tony Tofree, and my goal is to inspire, motivate, and provide hope for those who may be facing challenges, uncertainty, or adversity in their lives. We'll journey through inspiring stories of triumph over adversity as I interview people who can offer insights, encouragement, and practical wisdom to help you navigate through life's ups and downs. Join me as we uncover the silver linings behind every setback and discover gratitude in the face of adversity. Navigating through life's challenges can be tough, but remember, every hurdle is an opportunity for growth. Thank you, adversity. Hello, and welcome to the Thank You Adversity podcast, where I share encouraging stories to help inspire, motivate, and transform our hardships into strengths. I'm your host, Tony Tofree, and today I have a very special guest here today, someone who I've known for many years, born and raised in Lakeville, Minnesota, graduated from Lakeville High School, went on to college at the University of Minnesota, then transferred to Normandale College, and now is working full-time at Old National Bank. Through his journey, he's had hardships, adversities, and traumatic events that has changed his life. And honestly, seeing his strength, success, and his outlook on life is one of my key motivations on why I started this podcast. So I want to introduce you all to Dillon Borowicz. Dillon, welcome to the show.
Gosh, you're making me blush over here, Tony. Getting all bubbly, feeling good inside now here.
Good.
Oh, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for the opportunity and inviting me on here, and I'm glad you're kicking this off and starting to talk a bit about adversity and asking a few different people what their stories are. So I'm more than happy to share anything that I can.
Absolutely. No, like I said, thank you so much. I meant every word that I said. It's true. Your fight, your will, in speaking with people from my past experiences professionally and personally is why I'm doing this. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am actually going to start it off with a question for you. I seen on your social media that you had a post about peanut butter and pork chops. What?
Yes.
All right, you have to just tell me a little bit more about that, because I seen it and I'm sure people probably wrote like, oh my God, that sounds disgusting. I seen it and I was like, that actually doesn't look too bad. Like I would try that for sure.
It looks interesting. One of Mom's old recipes, so it does look interesting. Like on the picture, it doesn't like really look that appetizing, but the flavor, dude, is so good. And we're a big peanut butter family. We love creamy peanut butter.
Yeah.
I mean, prefer to creamy peanut butter over chunky peanut butter. I know that could be a big debate among people. But we have like peanut butter toast every morning, and it was an old recipe that she found. It's good in the wintertime, just kind of that hearty, thicker meal for here in Minnesota when it gets kind of cold, and frigid. So yeah, you just pan fry up some pork chops, and then on the side you do, and I don't know what all goes into the glaze or the marinade or whatever you want to call it, but it's very heavy peanut butter based. Like it's a quarter cup of peanut butter.
Ooh,
And you
okay.
get that whipping up, and then you put that on top of the pork chops when it's in the pan. You kind of flip it around in there. So
Okay.
the peanut butter actually caramelizes with the fat on the pork chop very well.
Ooh, no, like I said, I seen it and I was like, wait a second, that actually sounds kind of good. Nice,
If you want
nice.
the recipe, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I might have to have you send that to me. Definitely a Minnesota winter meal.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So jumping in here, just want to start off just to get to know you a little bit better. Tell me a little bit more about growing up in Lakeville. You were born in the 90s.
94 kids, so yeah, definitely getting all nostalgic. I mean, we're in 2024 now, so 30s, yowza. But yeah, I mean, you know me pretty well. I know you pretty well, so yeah, I can definitely answer all these questions for people if the people kind of get to know me. I mean, growing up in Lakeville at that time was pretty interesting because Lakeville had like a building freeze when my parents moved out here. So like no like industrial or big kind of complexes could be built for 10 years. So the whole city just decided, we're going to hold off for now, let a lot of people kind of move out here residentially wise. And then all of a sudden we're going to throw up all these big buildings and increase revenue for the city and stuff like that. So it's really been growing a lot since I was a kid going here. We did elementary school here, middle school, and then transitioned over to Lakeville South. That was built in '05. I didn't start going there. Well, I graduated in 13, so I didn't start going there, I guess, until like '09. So it was a relatively new high school. Very nice. I loved the people that I went with. I loved the community that I was surrounded by. I grew up in a great area. So yeah, it was very nice. Very, very competitive too. Just a lot of growth.
There's 2 high schools now. Were
Hmm.
there was that just
Yeah. So before '05, it was just Lakeville North, and then Lakeville South got built, and then yeah,
and then that came on later. Okay.
yeah.
Being at Lakeville, just as a kid, I mean, were you like an active kid? Were you kind of into video games or were you into sports or kind of tell me some of your hobbies?
Very active. Yeah. Did a little bit of it all. Just try to get exposure to kind of everything. Played some video games. Wasn't quite as techno savvy as some of my peers. Definitely more outdoors because we grew up on like 2.5 acre little plot here of God's green earth. So definitely outside a lot, riding bikes, playing basketball, playing football, just playing with sticks in the mud, doing whatever you kind of do, just being outside. I think it helped mom too. Mom just kind of shoot us outside, like, get out of the house, go outside and do something. So we're always outside, going through the woods and everything. Yeah, very nice.
I kind of grew up the same way, like being outside as a kid all the time. And, I think that just helps us so much. I mean, I don't want to get on the topic of kids today with all the social media and being in the house, but even my 4-year-old, I'm like, let's go outside. And he's like, I don't want to go outside. I'm like, I lived outside. Like I was outside until the streetlights came on every day. My mom had to call me back in, so it's just a difference, man. All right, so you're going to Lakeville High School. Everything's good. You start playing sports at Lakeville, right? You start playing football.
Yep. I mean, always played sports as a kid. So like you're growing up just trying to build up those motor kind of muscle, firing things. And so soccer growing up was very popular. Football throughout youth into middle school and then into high school that carried on. Picked up lacrosse late in middle school and then played that in high school as well. Started working out quite a bit in high school. Just was always kind of in the gym whenever they had weightlifting kind of competitions going on or just fitness Fridays. I'd always be in the gym. So yeah, just always busy. Tried a little bit of everything. I tried baseball when I was a bit younger, but lacrosse kind of took over for baseball because that was the same season.
Absolutely, that's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't know you played lacrosse. That's awesome, man. That's cool. At this age, what like kind of what were some of your motivations? I know you have a younger brother, but just kind of what motivated you at this age? Were you like looking at professional sports players, like I want to be there, or was it mom or dad, or like what was some of your motivations at this age?
Man, that's a good question. I don't even know if I really realized it at the time. I was busy with work. I always had a job throughout high school as well, just working on the weekends and like Friday nights at a local restaurant, the Red Fox Tavern. So I was kind of put in hours there. I liked the idea of earning, some sort of income so I could pay for my phone. I could pay for my own gas for my vehicle to get around. So I like that idea. I think money was a pretty big motivator for me at the time. I always like learning things too, just learning different things. So I was always in kind of constant state of just learning things and picking up new things and testing things out, whether it was, tasks at hand or things at home or just how systems kind of work. So yeah, did a lot of that.
For sure, you take me as a person who's just kind of how I am in a sense, just willing to learn and kind of learn everything and try to figure it out yourself and just to understand and get that full picture for yourself, just to know how things work.
Because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So you gotta keep learning.
That's true. Very true. All right. You're in high school. Things are going well. You're busy with sports, doing lacrosse, doing football, working, and something traumatic happened.
Yeah, unexpected. Going into my junior summer. So and I never remember the date, and it's not on purpose. I get some flack for it because like your life changed on the date. This should be a pretty important
Yeah,
date. It's like
you should
I'm
know
sorry,
this.
right? I should. Probably should, but I don't know. It's not that important to me, I guess. But yeah, so it was in the summer of my junior year. Me and some friends went out fishing one day, and then we came back to my house and we're just hanging out at home. Parents had some friends over. We're doing a little cookout, kind of grilling. We were swimming in our family pool, and I dove into the family pool and ended up breaking my neck. I fractured C3 and then shattered C5, and I did spinal cord damage in the C5 area. So that's kind of where my functions at. So no volitional movement or feeling kind of from like the chest line down.
Oh my gosh, Dylan. I cannot imagine the shock, the panic. You guys are teenagers and just not knowing what's going on.
Definitely in a shock, like you said, unexpected. I mean, we were still young. We're just adolescents, high schoolers thinking that we know everything, but don't know a damn thing. Yeah, so it was all new to them as well as a big shock to them. They didn't know. Parents were here at home as well, so they just weren't in the pool with us at the same time. So like we were all here in the same spot. But yeah, my younger brother, Matt, at the time, who I believe was in eighth grade, he was the one who pulled me out of the water. So it was pretty incredible for him to grow up so fast and just do something like that. And yeah, everyone was just in a state of shock. We got lucky that one of the family friends was here. She was a nurse, so she kind of knew a little bit of what to do. Didn't quite know what the severity of it was, but they were able to call 911. The ambulance was able to show up, and yeah, just things changed from there for sure. It was a whole whirlwind of life happening in matters of fractions of seconds. It was insane.
Oh my gosh, man. And your brother being in eighth grade and being there to have the courage to help you in that situation, and having a nurse there and your parents there, it's, we're put in places for a reason. And
I don't know if we call that destiny, like we're supposed to be at where we're supposed to be at. I don't
Yeah,
know if it's all pre-planned, predetermined. I don't know. I'm
exactly.
just along for the ride, trying to learn things along the way, spread the knowledge and figure things out. Like we've reflected on it and talked about it in the past, like with my brother. My brother's like, well, I don't know if I should have moved you this way or that way, or if things would have been different, better or worse. And it's like, you know what? It happened the way it happened, and now we're at where we're at, and we're just gonna keep kind of moving forward from there.
After your accident, I'm sure fear, the unknown, what is next going through your head. What was your outlook on life at that point?
I guess it would be, it'd be dependent on like the time frame, how you kind of break that all down. Like right away, within weeks or days afterwards, like I had no idea, like just no idea what was going on. I was so drugged up that I didn't really know what was going on. Like I never really partook in any sort of drugs or drinking in high school. So my body, I think, was not used to the amount of drugs that they put me in to do like surgery and stuff like that and just keep me sedated and to keep the pain down. So that was very overwhelming, just I think for me and my body. So the first hours, days, I think maybe up to that first week or two afterwards, it was just I didn't know. Like I had no idea what was going on. Afterwards, like when we started kind of transitioning to getting things more stabilized and like a lot of people showing up to the hospital, like just the amount of support that was huge. Just seeing like this massive teaming community of people showing up and showing they have your back. I was like, that was a lot. So that was definitely a lot. But I think it was pretty positive right away. Like I was thinking like, all right, we're just here for a while. We'll be here for a little bit, but I'll be good to go, probably next year or something for school, for sports. Like I don't think it all set in right away, but yeah, I always kind of stayed pretty positive at the time. I mean, there wasn't much else I could do, but I knew that was something that I was still in control of and something that, would probably make others feel a little bit better too around me. So that's what you do, I guess.
You kind of touched on it a little bit, saying that, people showing up to support you and having family, friends being that strong support system. I just wanted to ask you, like, how you were able to keep a positive mindset. There's many people who just go through typical everyday life ups and downs, adversities, hardships, and this was absolutely, a traumatic, life-changing event. And so some of the listeners might be saying, "Oh my gosh, if I had to go through that, I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would stay positive." So for yourself, I feel like you kind of mentioned it, like I said, the friends, the family, having that support, but how do you feel like you really maintain that positive mindset just throughout?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just them and their support showing up, me kind of having this sense of like, well, I can't let these people down now, like they showed up to help me out. Like, there's no way I can let them down. Like they're giving what they have for me. Now I have to give
Yeah.
everything I have kind of back to them. Just that show of mutual, I guess, respect or admiration for one another. But I think when we get thrown into tough times or face massive adversity and moments like this in any one of our lives or anybody's life, I don't think we know at that moment or at that time that we have the tools within us, to battle that at the time. Like, yeah, you could try to think of a scenario like, oh, what if this happens to me? Like, what would I do? What would I do? But you really don't know until you're in the midst of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, one of the reasons I created this podcast is like, adversities, hardships, and having these traumatic events, you don't really understand it until you're in it, how strong you are or how strong you have to be, just what you said. And that's awesome. So when you hear the word adversity, what pops into your mind?
Yeah, right away when I see the word adversity, I think like a word association. Like another word that pops in my head is like challenge or courage. So maybe a challenge that requires some courage to overcome this adversity. So I don't know, just some sort of word association,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But like you were just saying, like this adversity, how it challenges you, or like you don't know what kind of tools or trait or characteristics you really have in you until you're in it. It's kind of like a me versus you kind of thing. Like it's either I'm gonna win or you're gonna win adversity, and like I'm not gonna quit. Like I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let you win. So it's almost kind of like a battle thing. It's not like it's a bad battle or like a good battle. It's a challenge, and it's a constant challenge. I think we all have a different level to each one of our challenges. Like it's all different case by case. People are going through their own journeys, through their own difficulties. And I think we also have to be there to support one another. If I could manifest like the word adversity into like a person or a character, something that I would see in like real life, and if I just like bump into them on the street, like what would I potentially say to that person adversity? I think I would just say like thank you, thank you for choosing me when I was like at my weakest to like see what I could become or try to challenge me, or thank you for just being that thing there for me at my weak points, and then having me like self-realize what else is out there, what else can potentially be done, what I can do to kind of push myself past. So thank you, adversity, for helping me push past.
You having that mindset, like I said, when I met you and seeing your motivation and your drive to keep going and to persevere through traumatic events, it's just amazing, to have that mindset. And I always say it's a few things that really shape us and mold us as kids or in our youth to kind of have that thought process. And it's family, friends, having that support
Yeah, those
system,
role models.
role
Yeah.
models, sports, having that competitiveness. I'm not going to let adversity take me down. I'm going to fight back, kind of like you said, the you versus me, like, let's go. But personal experience and having heart, I think that's one thing like you can't teach someone to have heart or have bravery. It's almost like in you, and that's something that I feel like I've seen in you throughout the time in Abel and just throughout. You to put that classification on adversity, saying that if you've seen adversity like as a person on the street, like that's just awesome. That's just amazing how you put it that way. I love that.
Not every day is a good day, but it's still a day to learn something.
Absolutely. That's something I wanted to ask you about because I don't want this podcast to be about people listening and saying hearing stories and having a bad day and feeling bad that they aren't feeling good. We all have bad days. For you, how do you flip that switch? Say you wake up and it's just mentally you're not there, physically you're not there. What is something that you do for yourself that kind of gets you back on track?
I just remind myself, it's another day and there'll be another day tomorrow. So maybe today is not my day to win, but I'm going to still get through it the best I can and make of it what I can. For work, like a majority, if not like, I would say 90% of the emails I send for work, I always end it with make it a great day, not like just have a great day, because like
I love
the
that.
day doesn't define you. Like you have the power to influence the day. So it's like, it's up to you if you want to make that day a good day or not. You can only control you. And I have that tattooed on my arm with a few other sayings that are kind of close to me that help me get through crummier times, I guess. But yeah, you can only control you and like your outcomes and like what you input into the factors around you. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of external factors trying to
Yeah.
mess with you, and sometimes you just got to shut those out and focus on you. Me and my brother also have a tattoo in the same spot that it's the three initials NGU. You can take a guess, think what it stands for. NGU, the three initials we have.
Has to be never give up, right?
Bingo, baby. You got it.
Nice.
We could never give up.
That's awesome.
Day in and day out, never give up.
Nice.
Yep.
Other than the NGU tat, what's another one of your favorites? I mean, I'm sure if they're on your body, they're all your favorite. But if you had to say a runner-up, what's another one of your favorites?
When I was doing inpatient at Abbott, they had I'm going to get her title wrong. Her name's Jennifer Blair. She looks exactly like Sarah Jessica Parker. Like they could win like a celebrity lookalike contest. I believe she was like an acupuncturist at Abbott when I was there doing some rehab work. She came by and wrote a quote on my whiteboard, and I believe she came up with it, but I've kind of stole it from her since and have used it in different places. But it says, the courage to go deep, the faith to go far, and in between these two is confidence. So that one I've kind of always reflected on, and still don't quite know if I understand it, but I definitely like it. It means something, and I've held on to it for quite a while.
Yeah, it's one of those quotes that make you think. It goes deep,
Yeah,
for sure. I like that.
deep.
Awesome.
The courage to go deep, the faith to go far, and in between these two is confidence.
Nice. Wow. You kind of mentioned saying thank you for adversity, the name of this podcast, but saying it for yourself, thank you. Thank you for choosing me at my weakest. And I think that's just really strong, really passionate way to put it when you're talking about adversity. And I was going to ask you, you mentioned some of your strengths coming out of it, but can you specify like a lesson that you have learned as you overcome adversity?
I don't know if I can think of a specific time I really thought about one, but I know I've definitely like gained a lot of confidence in like the area of just having patience and being able to see things with more transparency, like trying to take that wide view lens off and put on kind of a narrow view lens and look at problems, or vice versa. Maybe I'm looking at things through too small of a scope and I got to open up and put on that kind of wider view lens and look at just problems differently. So those have been a few lessons, just kind of patience, transparency, viewing things a little bit different, trying to problem solve differently. Those have been pretty big, I think, so far. But there's not like a specific time or moment that I can really think of in life or work.
No, that I like that you mentioned patience, because that's definitely an eye opener and something that a lot of people, either you have it or you don't, but it's still going to be a challenge when you're dealing with adversity throughout life. So,
And I think I have always kind of had it. Like I've always been kind of a cool, calm
hmm
headed, kind of collected kid growing up.
yeah,
But it's, yeah, like you said, it's definitely something everybody can kind of work with or change. You can practice it, lesson it, whatever you want to do.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. Dylan, what advice can you give someone who has sustained a spinal cord injury or has gone through a traumatic event?
I think just take things the way they kind of come, the ebbs and flows, the good times and the bad, just kind of problem solve it and keep a optimistic outlook as you're problem solving all those. I mean, I think it'll not only benefit you when you have that positive mindset and you set you set your mental frame, I guess, in a positive manner. It'll help you internally, and I think also help those around you. So as long as you can stay positive, I think it'll have kind of a halo effect around on those others. And being vulnerable is a big thing as well. I think just as long as you can open up to others, there's a lot of strength in vulnerability, and I don't think we see that enough these days. You just got to be open, transparent, have some patience, have courage, have bravery, and just be able to educate others and talk with others and have an open conversation. I think goes a long way with people trying to, deal with traumatic or big changes in their life, whether it be, any sort of problem like a loss of a child or divorce or any sort of physical change that you have going on. So just being very open.
Yeah, and so what I gathered from what you're saying is being open, staying open. Yeah, communication is key. And I like that you mentioned that, earlier you said your friends, family were there to be your support system, and having a support system is so important in this case, because who are you going to be open with? Who are you going to be honest with? If you're having a hard time by yourself, maybe your friends and family can be there for you.
In my mind, like my opinion, my view, I just feel like it's all a huge balance. Whether you're dealing with adversity or anything around you, like sometimes you have to be an energy giver. Sometimes you have to be
Mm-hmm.
an energy taker. Sometimes you have to be the one to talk. Sometimes you have to be the one to listen. So it's a balance. You can't be way far on the scale to one side versus way far to the spectrum on the other side. So you just try to balance everything out. Yin and yang, I guess, is my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Um, in my podcast, I definitely want to touch on music therapy. Music therapy is great. It focuses on the physical, emotional, cognitive, and social needs for individuals, for myself included, helping with improving my mood, reducing stress, enhancing communication, and just promoting overall well being. Do you utilize music as a form of therapy?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different types of genres and different, backgrounds that it comes from. So I definitely use it as an escape sometimes. Sometimes as a motivation. Sometimes
Mm.
something to just get your mind off of something, or yeah, to make you push better when you're in the gym or something like that. So yeah, just about anything.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned both. You use music as an escape, but also your motivation at the gym, getting that pumped up music
Right.
to get a good workout in. That's awesome. And definitely something that I would love to highlight throughout every episode in the podcast, how amazing music therapy can be. As I mentioned for myself, I love listening to music by myself, working out in the gym to calm myself down, listening to music in the car with my kids, my family, going to live music, going to concerts, whatever it is, music is amazing and it can be very, very healing, very calming in a sense, and just really help out with your quality of life.
I love music. Yeah, music's great. What was the last concert that you went to that you can remember?
Ooh, the last concert I went to was it was Leon Bridges at the Armory in Minneapolis. Yeah, yeah, it was Leon Bridges. I'm a big Leon Bridges fan, but seriously, man, I am all over with music genre. I listen to everything. Seriously. One day it's Boston, AC/DC, The Animals. The next it's the Beatles. I mean, even like, I don't know if you know of like bands like St. Paul and the Broken Bones. I listen to a lot. Villagers. Old school voices like Charles Bradley or Otis Redding. I definitely have a love for. Even on to, hip hop, but yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
around,
same.
man.
I mean, music's got a part of every piece of
Hmm.
every puzzle. I feel like every kind of genre, you can listen to just about everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I feel like it can help so many people. I mean, depending on what you listen to and what your mood is, I mean, that can change day to day, as I mentioned, music therapy is amazing, you know?
Would you play in band? Sorry, I'm
Oh,
asking you the questions now.
nah, you're good, man.
Would you play in band?
I was in percussion and you were
I was in percussion.
percussion.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I
right.
was percussion. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I remember that. Yeah, I played percussion instruments probably from I think it was seventh grade on through high school. Actually, a funny story how I became a percussionist. I started off playing trumpet,
Yeah.
baritone, brass instruments. We had a substitute teacher in junior high, and he came in, asked everyone, "What instrument do you play?" And throughout, I always wanted to be a percussionist. I always wanted to, and I'm like, this is my time. I can change. I can change. He gets to me and Anthony, what instrument do you play? And I'm like, percussion.
Seize your moment.
And he's like, well, why are you sitting here with the brass players? Go out by the percussionist. And I'll never forget. I had a buddy named Raheem. Shouts out to Raheem if you're listening to this. I get up there and I'm like, oh my gosh, Raheem, I don't know how to read percussion music. Like, what do I do? And he whispers over to me and he's like, every time you see a black dot, you hit the snare drum. And
Perfect.
That's where I started my percussionist journey.
That's great.
How about you? Did you play any other instruments, or what percussion instruments did you play?
Played piano when I was super young, growing up until like late elementary school into middle school, because that's kind of what got me into the percussion thing. I was able to read music pretty well. and then did percussion just in middle school. So like those 3 years. And then after that, I thought it was like dumb and lame. I was like, I want to be cool in high school and I don't want to do music anymore. And now like deeply regret it. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Music, it just does something to you. It does something for you, as I mentioned earlier, like in my household, we have music on all the time. Kids are listening to music. My wife and I are listening to music.
Yeah.
It's just on all the
Same.
time. Same for you. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, we're just
Same.
always
Yep.
around it.
Same all the
Yeah.
time.
So,
Yep.
no, that's awesome. So Dillon, you have a lot of positivity. You have a lot of positive things that you have going for you. Going back to where you started, being a young kid in Lakeville to where you are today, what goals do you have for yourself today? Or, what do you hope to accomplish here in the near future?
Oh boy. A lot. I mean, right now I'm just really busy with work. So I want to keep chipping away, I think, at small goals at work just to see, more of an impact that I can have and build up more in that community there. Cause I've only been there for, I shouldn't say only, but about 3 years, but in this new role for just since this new year, since 2024. So only about 3 months. So I want to focus on my career for sure for now.
Okay.
Other small goals are just travel a little bit if I can, kind of save some money, go do a little bit of traveling.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that really sticks out right now, but yeah, just try to do better every day and try a little harder every day and just be better than yesterday.
Yeah, those are special words to live by. Try to do better every day. Just be better than you were yesterday. Like, I love that you said that, like pointing that out. It's so important, that resilience piece, and anyone listening to this, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe, you want to be at this point. And it's tough. It's tough getting here. And so Dillon, I appreciate you just saying that, like, cause that's really what it's all about.
Yep.
Just trying to be better than you were yesterday and just building from that. That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Be a
That's
better
awesome.
human.
I'm a big travel guy. I love traveling. I know you mentioned travel. What do you have travel plans coming up here?
I don't think my parents are going to see this for a while, if not maybe ever. But next year, I would like to surprise my mom because she's a huge fan of the movie Titanic. And I heard that there is a like replica museum in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, I believe is how you kind of pronounce it.
Yeah.
So I would like to go down there, and I believe like Dollywood is kind of in the area too, and some of like the Great Smoky Mountains. So it'd be cool to kind of go down there, travel a little bit, check it all out, just see what the scene's like.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're thinking that. At least I'm thinking that. I kind of want to surprise him and bring him down there, but we'll see.
Yeah, that would be an awesome surprise. And yeah, Gatlinburg is actually, I believe it's the really popular starting point for the Great Smoky Mountains. Oh, that's awesome. That's going to be fun. That's going to be great. Dillon, I just want to thank you. Thank you for your time, your willingness to open up and share your story, share your journey of resilience in the face of adversity, in the face of a traumatic event. What I got from talking to you is just the power of communication, the power of being open, being honest, being resilient, is so important, as we know, when fighting against adversity, and there are people, friends, family, there are people there to help us. We're all together in this. And having a good support system is so important. And you have highlighted that so many times throughout, talking with you today. But again, thank you for being on the show. I definitely feel those listening would definitely be inspired, motivated by you just being you just telling your story and just saying how you are in your mindset, man. Your mindset is just amazing. When it comes to dealing with adversity, a lot of people crumble at adversity, myself, particularly in different situations. So when we really focus on a traumatic event, something that you have gone through, we mentioned earlier, you don't know how strong you are or have to be until you're in that situation. But man, you have just impressed me since the day I met you. And thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing your story, and just being open and honest with me.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the time. Appreciate you being flexible on that end. I mean, yeah, like you said, dude, we're all water droplets in the same pond. We all ripple with one another. We affect one another. So it's pretty impactful on what we all can do. And when we open up to one another and just share kind of some things. I got one final question for you. I know I've kind of been asking a lot of questions today, but if you were to own a billboard, like you had all rights to this billboard, you could do whatever you wanted for this billboard. What would you want to put on that billboard?
Ooh, that's tough. Definitely something to open the eyes of people. Almost, going back to like preschool, kindergarten, right? What we're taught as kids: treat others how you want to be treated. Something of that nature.
Fair enough.
Or thank you adversity. Just having something that a billboard that said thank you adversity. I think that'll get people to really think, why, what does that mean? Or to think about their hardships and their ups and downs and really maybe go on a little journey in their mind about why they're thankful for adversity. You wouldn't be who you are today from the experiences that you had throughout your life. It's so true. And at the end of the day, we have to say thank you adversity. Like
Right.
we're here for a reason. We learn, we make mistakes, we fall. And as I mentioned earlier, it's about how we get back up. And at the end of the day, we have to say thank you adversity, because adversity makes us who we are, makes us, the strength. It gives us the courage, gives us the strength to who we really are, and gives us wisdom in life and a direction. I would definitely say it would be thank you adversity on the billboard.
Beautiful. Put a nice little bow on it. Beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's so true. It's so true. I'm going to flip the question. Same thing goes to you. If you had the opportunity to put anything you wanted on a billboard, what would that be?
Catching me off guard here.
Yeah.
I think I have to go back to my answer for one of those other questions, and it would be that like favorite quote that I have on me that
Okay.
that Jennifer Blair kind of wrote to me, and I gotta give her credit again, like because I just won't forget her name, and I can't take credit for it because I'm not that smart. But the courage to go deep, the faith to go far, and in between these two is confidence.
Yeah.
I just feel like it opens up kind of that thought of wonderment. So if somebody is to read that when they're driving by or walking by, it just might make them pause for a moment, kind of forget about everything else that's going on, be able to appreciate kind of maybe the small things and just sit in that second, that moment, that whatever moment of bewilderment that they're in, just kind of sit there and pause for a moment.
Yeah, and when you read that quote, it's funny because that's exactly what it makes you do. It makes you just pause for a second because it's so deep, and it makes you it just kind of pauses you in your tracks.
Right.
It makes you reflect.
It makes me do all the time. Like, yeah, just makes me kind of stop and think about it all the time because I still haven't quite understood it and still trying to understand it. So we'll see. Yeah, you can't think too far in the future. You can't think too much in the past. You just gotta kind of stay where you're at right now. Again, balance. Just gotta be balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, earlier you mentioned yin and yang. I mean, it's so true. Balance, having that balance to both sides. No, I love it. I have one more question for you.
Fire away. I love them.
You have a lion tattoo, correct?
I do. Yes, I got the head of a lion. Yep.
Okay, awesome. And where at?
Just like it's right here in the chest. Yeah, kind of over the heart area, I guess. I mean, I know heart's kind of dead center, but wherever you put your hand for when you do the Pledge of Allegiance, I guess, when I do it. So yeah. The story behind that, I don't think I ever told you the story, but the story behind that was when I was like in ICU, kind of recovering at Abbott. My football coaches came to visit me. And the one was in pretty big tears. I mean, it was Coach Thompson, it was Dick Zeman, and Dave Colmer. And Dick Zeman like put his fist up and he was in a little bit of tears. He goes, "You got the heart of a lion, Dillon. You got the heart of a lion." And he just kind of walked out of the room, and it just stuck with me in my kind of drug-induced state. For some reason, that stuck with me. So I've wanted to get the tattoo for quite a while, and I finally got it happen. So yeah, I got pretty cool line tattoo with just like the mane, the face. It's got a pretty stern look on it. It's not like roaring or anything or showing any teeth, but it's just like looking straight at you. And if you get close enough to the details, you can see the Leo symbol in like the pupil of the eye. Like it's not actually an eye, it's the Leo symbol. Because I'm also a Leo.
Okay.
So,
okay. Nice. Nice. That's awesome.
So I just figured it fit. It fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There's no color to it. It's just black and white, a lot of shading. So it's pretty cool. And then the only color is in the eyes. The eyes are red.
Okay.
With a couple tears just to show the sacrifices that have been like made.
And did you design that yourself or was it?
Yeah, me and the tattoo artist kind of just worked together. We talked a few things over and just made it happen.
Nice. Nice. Heart of a Lion. Man, that's you, Dillon. Heart of a Lion. You are an amazing person, man. You are so inspiring. Please continue to share your story out there. Continue to post. Continue to just help those dealing with adversity. I mean, it doesn't have to be, SCI, it can be anything, man. You have the ability and just a really unique talent and a unique characteristics about yourself that you can really help others, man. And you are so inspiring. And I thank you for your time. I thank you for the information you shared. And yeah, we definitely have to have you back on the show, man, within some time here.
Cool. Glad for it. Thank you for just having the platform and sharing this. And if anybody needs any sort of education or resources, I know they can reach out to you or they can reach out to me. Like that's what we're here to do. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, Dillon, thank you for mentioning that. Anyone who has questions for Dillon, you can find him on Instagram or Facebook at Dillon Borowicz. You can also write in your questions, comments, concerns for Dillon or on this episode at thankyouadversity@gmail.com. Dillon, I want to thank you again for your time. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, Tony.
And a quick takeaway as we sign off. Navigating through life's journey can be tough, but remember, every hurdle is an opportunity for growth. Thank you, adversity. Cheers.